Almost ready to go here in the battle for first place in the A-10 Siegel Center, Richmond, Virginia. George Mason, under second-year head coach Tony Skinn, had many great battles with VCU when he was a player here in that Final Four era, but he told us this morning this is actually his first trip back here since his playing days nearly 2 decades ago. Says this team is similar to that Final Four team he was on in that the scoring is spread out. Jalen Haynes and Darius Maddox, the only players in double figures. VCU definitely has the offensive edge behind sharpshooter Max Shulga, who came over with Brian Odom from Utah State a couple of years ago. Odom, just like Skinn, in his second season, looking to lead his third different team to the tournament. Of course, he orchestrated that 16-1 in 2018, coaching UMBC to a win over Virginia. Chris, 70th meeting all time between George Mason and VCU. None have been bigger than this one since they joined the A-10 over a decade ago.
Yeah, as I just said in the open, this is an electric atmosphere. People that haven't seen the Siegel Center up close, we're up close in front right now. This is going to be a big-time game.
And I am one of those. First trip inside the Siegel Center.
I knew that at you. I knew it was your first time.
First time seeing these facilities blown away.
Big time.
George Mason is going to have the basketball to start this game after that went out of bounds. And this Patriots team, a little bit more offensively challenged. They've also had turnover issues at times. That's something that VCU is going to try to pry on today.
More ball control. I really traveled there.
I thought so too. Braden O'Connor looked like he shoveled the pivot foot on the head fake. Take one more look at that and see if you can spot the pivot foot and if it did move. Oh, it slid.
It definitely slid.
Oh, man, yeah.
You see Bam Boy, you look how high he was flying. Try to block that shot. And O'Connor, that's what they're going to try to do. They got to keep him out of the paint. They're a team that can make shots as well. I know VCU has three-point prowess, but George Mason has some three-point shooters as well, but they look to get into the paint and create problems in the interior.
Both free throws good. George Mason, the first to score here on this great afternoon in Richmond, such a fantastic basketball city, and unbeaten at home this season. Every win at home by 12 or more points.
And look for a very big speed of doubling shoulders right off the bat, make them uncomfortable, force them those guys to drive inside the interior of that defense.
Air ball three, but able to get it off before the shot clock expired. Philip Russell bails them out with 1 on the clock.
So impressive about VCU. You're talking about a team that offensive rebounds, almost 40% of their misses, and this is what's going to happen right now. It's not a good sign for George Mason. It's not a touchdown turnover, but they can't turn the basketball over. You see, again, give the offensive rebound off the Bama Seal miss. It's Phil Russell.
VCU first in the conference in turnover margin. Kind of reminds some fans of that Havoc ball back in the day.
Well, both of these teams are unbelievable two-point defensive-wise. They want to force you, right, to put their hands on you, be extremely physical, and you have to finish amongst 2 and 3 defenders inside, and Woody knew this guy, Chris, has been on the heater.
Best three-point shooter on the team, 44% in A-10 games after a slow start to the non-con.
He made 8 threes against St. Louis. I mean, he has been fantastic. The good thing about this team is that's going to go to George Mason. So they're just passing the basketball. They do a great job of finding each other, moving the basketball around. There's not really one elite scorer on this team. They do it by committee. And you get an older team that plays for each other and with each other. They're tough to beat.
Both sides can say that. This has to be one of the oldest matchups between two teams we'll see all season.
We'll spend time with the AD, with the sports information director. He was telling us the old CAA battles that they used to have were fantastic, but none's bigger than this one right now.
And they've been up 3 times in CAA championship games. And VCU has been at or near the top of the A-10 since they joined over a decade ago. George Mason has taken a while to get there, but Coach Skinn coaching this team to a third straight 20-win season, and this is the best team they've had in a long time.
For a very long time, particularly in this league. Give him credit. Only in year 2 of being a head coach. Absolutely fantastic job by him, and there goes that man right there. Haynes is a tough cover inside with that body and that strength, and there's a knack for rebounding the basketball as well.
And that's 2 on Bamboye. A great young shot blocker who had a career-high 7 blocks. The last time out, he already has the most blocks by a freshman since Larry Sanders almost 20 years ago. But Haynes gets to the free throw line a lot. Not a great free throw shooter, but he does everything else great.
He certainly does, and he's a big guy, nimble with the feet, big slime as they call him. He can put you in the spin cycle. This young man is very gifted in the paint, can score with the best of them.
Coach Skin says he is the best player at his position in the league. He takes the most free throws of anybody on this team, only 55% though, and misses both.
Again, he's an anchor of that defense. He might be big inside, not really the shot blocker that Bamboye is, but he moves around and really makes it tough for people to score inside.
So Bama Seal 0 for 2 to start this game from outside. VCU,
they're letting him get this to Chris right away.
1 for 6 to start this game. Newton trying to run down the offensive board. And it goes out of bounds to VCU. 3 minutes gone by. And a 5-2 George Mason lead. This might be a really low-scoring game. First one to 60, Coach?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a rock fight. You know, if you look at the guys on the floor, people don't realize this. This is college basketball. You're talking about an experienced team on both sides. George Mason been the second most experienced team in the country, and VCU is close to that as well. Oh, wow.
Bama Seal went for the highlight reel flush over the top of Haynes, who said that he thought he got all ball.
Are you serious? Look at this, Chris. This is how you used to get it back in the day in Ohio. Playing in intramurals.
Oh, he was cocking that back and ready to throw it down like Blake Griffin back in the day. Bama Seal to the free throw line. He has 1 game under his belt against George Mason. It came when he was a member of George Washington. He scored 26 points in that matchup. That has been all over the place. George Washington, Oklahoma, Virginia Tech.
Well-traveled. You know, that's what college basketball is today. But this young man's got a great smile, great disposition about him, and has been a tremendous leader, and not one that usually misses 2 from the foul line.
65% shooter. Both teams struggling from the line and the field to start this game. Combined 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 5 from the free throw line. He's got 2 for 6 now. Haynes tried to hook that one over into the corner. Shot clock down to 6.
Such aggressiveness from both teams.
O'Connor dumps it off. Haynes, no good as he hits the deck, and here come the Rams. Jack Clark has been hot the last 2 games, challenged at the rim, and here comes George Mason. Haynes one-on-one with Shulga, the Euro step.
Look at that footwork. You kidding me? That's what makes this young man so good.
6'8", 265.
This young man, I've watched him warm up, very nimble. Forget about what you see in size. He can move with the best of them in the country.
And an important note, as you see his stats from last Saturday's game against St. Joe's that they won, squeaked by at the buzzer.
16 points, they came back down.
And he had 16 of his 22 in the second half. But Bamboye is out with 2 fouls right now for VCU, and George Mason creates a turnover. And just ripped away inside by Giovanni Emajuru.
Just physicality. That's what is going to mark this game, is how physical can you be without getting key players in foul trouble.
Emajuru sets the pick. This is Darius Maddox. And that's Philip Russell.
Going to have to be a man today on that ground. You're going to get challenged going to the offensive glass before.
1 and done for VCU once more, as they are now 1 for 8 from the field.
Yeah, very critical. That's how they get most of their threes, or a lot of their threes. There's another turnover there by Phillips.
Good ball movement in transition, and the three falls from Russell.
Got to get a producer credit. He blew it up. Dialed it up in the open. That's exactly what they do well in transition. Pass, pass, pass. They lead the league in assists. They do a great job of finding each other, knocking down that triple from the corner.
Tony Skid told us at shoot-around this morning that when you turn it over against VCU, sometimes it feels like you're giving up a 6-point swing.
And when you turn it over, you have to get back in transition. You see that shot right over there. They're already finding. They knew 2 passes away like a hockey assist that they were going to get the basketball to him. And that corner, that's a Curry. That's what I call a Curry. He's going to knock that down every single time. It's the easiest shot in basketball.
Producer John told you not to say that today.
Hey, I don't know why he said that. He's not anti-NBA, but he always. I know he loves the league. That's all right, though.
I like that you brought up hockey, the most watched hockey game.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
In many a year this week. The Canadians. Not the Canadians. The Canadians winning. Well, it's been a while since the Canadians have won in the NHL. 3 off mark. Haynes got a fingertip on it. Beg your pardon, that was Emejuru. But VCU able to clear it. Looking for back-to-back buckets. Shulga out to Clark for 3. And Jack Clark's been great over the last 2 games, averaging 17.5 points per game.
Hey, I was here the last game against UMass. He knocked down 5 of those things. And he has been an unbelievable addition to this team.
Good find inside, and a little dish to Emejuru. Head fake. Gets it back. Now lost it on the floor, and here comes VCU.
With Berman credit, again, look at this game. You can tell it's going to be back and forth.
Oh, Emejuru, the two-hander.
About a yo-yo situation. Get back in transition. I told you this is going to be a battle royale. Fouls make fights, and right now, George Mason's bringing the fight.
9-5 lead. 13-10 to go first half. A whistle underneath. This is the second time that kind of gotten into this situation where VCU turns it over and there's a big man waiting on the other end.
Yeah, the freshman Jimmy with the turn. Katie Johnson, head up, throwing the pass. Emejuru, he's so athletic. Tons of dunks this year. Coming off the one leg with the two-handed easy one. With Mason. Again, talking about a team that does not score much, but they will convert in transition. They're a very upper-class laden team that knows how to score in those situations.
Jack Clark comes out of this game. That's the second foul on Woody Newton.
As I say, that's what we got to keep an eye on. As physical as this game may be, what players are getting in foul trouble, particularly early in the pace set.
That's what Shulga does, and he's been doing it for a long time. 42% from deep, top 5 in the league.
George Mason leads this league in 3-point percentage defense. I'm sure Tony Skid would not be happy with that. You do not want to let the 11 in goal have any airspace at all.
Second 3 of the game for VCU. They're within 1. Johnson driving a point-blank look, but couldn't pay it off.
And they're going to continue to try to get in that paint and drive the basketball. Create some disruption for VCU. They're going to dare him to shoot that.
And Michael Bell will, but he's short.
When I played Chris, that was the same. There's a reason why you're open.
He's 2 for 24 from deep.
There's a reason why you're open. See, I wasn't going to say it's percent. I was going to say there's a reason why.
You left that to me.
I left that to you.
Thank you. Slide to the hoop. Maybe one too many passes there, but it's going to be a foul on VCU. As Jared Billups lost control of that pass. Take another look at this. The fans not happy here inside the Siegel Center.
The freshman, Brandon Jennings, definitely fouled. A little bit too physical there. Great job of playing those ball screens from the size of VCU.
Johnson launches a deep three. Too strong, tipped around, and all the way into the backcourt by Haynes.
Let's just get the sisters playing in at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Just older guys.
As old as me and you.
Yes.
That great move by the Dancing Bear, who says, too small.
Footwork is just impeccable. Touch as well.
For Richmond.
Wow. Love Black History Month. Always learn something new every single year. Great bit of history there for the Rams.
Rams trailing George Mason 11-8 in this game of the year in the Atlantic 10. George Mason 11 straight wins. That's tied for the second longest streak in the country. VCU trying to tie them at the top, and they would hold the tiebreaker if they could get this win with a couple of weeks to go before the tournament in D.C. Whistle underneath and a foul going on George Mason. And that's going to be 2 on Braden O'Connor. So they already have 3 players now with 2 fouls in this game.
That's what I'm saying. We'll see how they're piling up. The physicality, we'll see later on how that affects the coaching style of either one of these coaches. But right now, Tony Skinn, he's got to bring in Justin Beck, freshman from UCC. Tony Skinn teaching him how to guard in his suit. He's fun to talk to today. Great personality, great understanding for a young coach about the game and where it is right now.
VCU 3 for 13 to start this game. That's 23%. Very businessman-like approach at their shoot-around today at the practice facility. George Mason, on the other hand, you can tell they know this game is the biggest that this program has played in a long time, and they can make a real statement today. That one goes out of bounds off Bama Seal with only 3 on the shot clock.
See what's happening? Think about it. As I said, protect the paint. George Mason is trying to get in the crease of that defense. What VCU does well, they get hands on balls, but they also put their bodies in position to stop the drivers.
Katie Johnson to trigger it underneath. A head fake, a 3. Justin Begg on back iron. Here come the Rams once again.
Well, this is certainly the tempo. I was going to say the tempo that George Mason wants. A great job in transition there.
Kristen Furman the bucket and an offensive foul on Katie Johnson for the push-off on the inbound.
Think this game means something?
Feels like it means everything.
Philip Russell walking away. Looks like they're going to look at this.
Our officials today, Jeffrey Clark, Jerry Heater, and Ron Taberski. And this is going to be an official review.
The previous players on the review.
Take a look at it. Right after the bucket by Furman. George Mason trying to inbound it, and you see Johnson there, number 0, looking to clear a little space. He got shoved at first and then retaliated.
Yeah, that was he put his shoulder into him. You see the reaction by Philip Russell. He knew right away. Anderson, all he had to do was just run the baseline a little bit. It was on a make instead of sitting under the basket, so there was really not an angle for Katie Johnson to get the ball, but certainly he chicken wing, as they say, or extended his arm in a very aggressive manner.
Well, what do you think?
They're going to upgrade it. Yeah, they're going to upgrade it. Absolutely. I thought that was very deliberate.
After further review, common foul stands.
Wow, listen, now they're talking my type of talk.
Yeah, here we go.
We're not playing the Big East back there. We're just playing basketball.
Let's bring it back to the late 80s, huh?
Wow, come on, Chris, don't go there. Late 80s, man. You gonna help me like that? You just said Jalen Haynes about as old as both of us, and then you keep me in the late 80s. Come on, man.
That's physical time, man. You should be proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely, Don. That was a different time in basketball, and again, no harm, no foul, obviously, on that play.
Just the common foul as they get it into Bama Seal. We had that one poked out of bounds. Now, with 3 different players with 3 fouls in this game, 2 for George Mason, 1 for VCU and Bamboye, How did you go about it as a coach when you pick up a second foul in the first half?
You know what? I didn't mind the second foul. Everyone's different, because now you sit them out. There's about 10 and some change left. You're going to have those guys sit out for 10 minutes and expect them to come back and be, in a rhythm. So you got to trust them. You got older players, Chris. You got to trust them to go the game. But this game's a little bit scary because it's very physical.
So I beg your pardon. It's Bamboye who has the 2 fouls for VCU as they are running out of time in the corner, and that one didn't draw iron.
I mean, look at the defensive presence. I'm telling you, this George Mason team, I hadn't seen them play. When I did the game when they played at Dayton, I was like, wow, look at this team. I had no idea that they had this type of action going on at George Mason, but they have done a tremendous job this year. Justin Baird goes with the floater.
Yeah, they were very happy to see you again because that was one of the best games of the season at Dayton in a blowout. Bell again, and again missing.
That Jackson going up top with the tip out. So many athletes flying at the rim.
Brother missing. It's looking like that slog right now. 11-10. We have 21 points combined in the first almost 11 minutes of this game.
Yeah, Ryan Oakley talked about the defensive presence. Trying to score at the rim against George Mason is very difficult.
And fine, and using the rim as protection. Haynes again.
He is so nifty and crafty inside. Spin moves and get to the other side.
Ball moving out to Russell, who misfires on the 3, but they get another offensive rebound.
When VCU hosts them, give them extra possessions. But George Mason, stellar defensive team that they are.
Jackson off the mark, and they are now 4 of 19 from the field to start this game of the Rams. This is not a bad shooting team. We mentioned they're a good offensive team. First in the conference at almost 79 points a game. They shoot at 45%.
It's rated almost every metric, including offensive rebound, and they lead the league in scoring. But you're playing against a defensive juggernaut in the Patriots. And I'm telling you right now, they are physical and they play no games when it comes to their defensive prowess.
Haynes kept that possession alive. It's the second or third time he's been able to tip it out to a teammate for the offensive rebound, but VCU escapes unscathed. Quick launch 3. Another miss. 4 for 20.
See, Tony Skinn says, slow it down. We're going to control this basketball game. Even though VCU wants to get up and down the floor, play at frenetic pace. We've got 3 of our guys out with 2 fouls. We need to slow it down.
You know, Chris, when you were here doing the other 3 teams will raise your eyebrows. Duke, Houston, and San Diego State.
Yeah, 3 of the best. 3 of the best historically in the last few years. And it goes to show you they're big, they're athletic, they're experienced, and they want to play defense. That's what makes it tough.
Shot clock at 12 here as we reset. Maddox had that one poked away. Tough dribble from Phillips. Jumped off the off foot, and it's saved inbounds by Bamboye.
He's trying to get in that paint of George Mason. Both these teams are very hard to score against. VCU, the best shot blocking team in this league. Even if they can't block it, they'll make you hurry or take a circus shot.
Into the offense now, deep into the shot clock. Bounce into Furman, goes over the top, can't get the home roll.
Isn't it amazing? Ryan Holden told us like they're the hardest team to score on in the interior, and that was a point-blank shot for Chris Furman. He's got to make that, but for some reason, there's a boogeyman in his ear saying, "Hey, somebody's coming."
Here's Haynes. Nice pass. Johnson used the head fake. Maddox is going to drive. Contact at the rim and 1.
Have to protect the paint. The thing that sets it up is Maddox is a terrific three-point shooter. But again, worried about him. Furman does not get a chance to go up and block the shot. But again, I don't want to harp on this, but there are 2 different styles here. VCU wants to make threes from around there. Make almost 10 again. Let's do it again. George Mason wants to get in that paint. They want to get in that paint and create problems, and that's what they're doing right now. They're controlling this game.
They are 10-2 in points in the paint so far. So +8 in the paint and +5 on the scoreboard with 6.5 to go first half. Shulga lost it on the way up, but a whistle on Giovanni Enajuru, and free throws should be coming.
Shulga himself not afraid to get in there and mix it up.
Taking a look at the Reese's player profile, Jack Clark. Very interesting career. 7th season, had a couple of medical red shirts, had the COVID year, and he's a Homeland Security major. I'm not sure I've ever seen
we talked about that. Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, you're talking about taking advantage of the system and not in a negative way. You know, obviously 2 medical red shirts, but played in Clemson's Elite 18 last year. You know, just a tremendous kid as you talk to the staff. It's given an opportunity to really play at a high-level university to end his career.
VCU's missed 7 straight shots. They're shooting under 20%, but they're only down 3 here nearing the 6-minute mark in the first half. Haynes double team and throws it away. It's a steal from Bama Seal. He's pushing, he's looking. Extra pass, Shulga 3.
Double. Haynes. Bama Seal with a great rotation.
They get Clark for the blocking foul. Well, that was vintage VCU.
Just absolute technical. I mean, they see this pass. You see Shulga right there. They saw that right away. Pass. I mentioned hockey assists before. This team does a tremendous job of finding each other, particularly in transition. That's why tempo is so important to them.
There's a foul on Clark as he cut off Haynes on that sideline.
Haynes showing his dribbling drills, dribbling skills there. They're going to take advantage of me just because I'm a big and think I can't handle that thing. Trapping Maddox, look at this activity.
And he throws it up to Johnson. Still plenty of time on the shot clock.
Good control there, good poise there by Johnson. Not to get erratic.
Oh, that's going to be an offensive foul. Haynes clearing the way. Big smile on his face, he knew it, and that's his second.
That's 4 guys now with 2. Yeah, really good job taking that punishment from Haynes with Philip Russell. You can tell that there's a game plan in mind about, hey, you know what? George Mason's a very physical team. We're going to have to match that physicality, but we're going to have to do it in a smart way.
All 3 of George Mason's players with 2 fouls are on the bench. Haynes, O'Connor, and Newton.
Another foul.
With both teams in the bonus, that'll send VCU to the line with a shot to lead.
Yeah, the ref to call this thing pretty tight, Chris, especially on the VCU side. I mean, on the George Mason side. And Tony Skinn is like, you've got to be kidding me. I know exactly what he's saying.
First lead of the game for VCU. Hey, tomorrow morning, head out to the pitch with us for Serie A Showdown as Como takes on league leader Napoli at 6:30 a.m. It's on CBS Sports Network and Paramount Plus.
Guys start to get into this game.
And that one's going on Philip Russell of VCU. His second.
Very, very physical game, just like I expected. Battle royal between 2 tough teams. Katie Johnson says he's going to look at it, grab it. That's the NBA. That's the NBA, Chris. Every time something happens, they start circling the everything that happens in the NBA filters down to college basketball. Let's look at it again. How about this atmosphere?
7 straight for VCU. Johnson 1-1. Another miss. George Mason is 2 for 6 at the line in the first half.
Yeah, for a team that's extremely good, next to last in the conference in free throw shooting percentage. And that's amazing that they've won close games with that free throw shooting being as low as it is.
Shulga turns it over. George Mason went on 2 minutes without a point here. Trying to snap this 7-0 run. Maddox launches for 3.
Jackson was right there. He's a very good defender. Max with a big time shot.
They say he's a gamer. Shows up in huge games, especially games on the road. His numbers have gone up across the board in true road games this season. Bama still trying to answer. A carom out to Shulga. Second opportunity for VCU. And Bama sail all the way.
Mentioned time and time again about offensive rebounding. You have to give them a one-shot game. You cannot allow them to get 2 and 3 shots on every possession.
Under 4, first half. And Maddox is fouled. He'll go to the line on the other side of the timeout.
Both of these coaches, we talk to them, know what's at stake. And the way the world works today, these kids certainly know as well.
And I think both of these coaches will be rooting for Dayton the rest of the regular season. Dayton lost last night at Loyola. Dayton is the lone quad 1 win for both of these teams, and they're hovering right at the edge of quad 1, quad 2 territory. But they went into Dayton and won. You saw George Mason do it earlier this season. Maddox hits the first free throw to tie this game at 19. Chris, it feels like over the last 3 or 4 minutes we're starting to get more of an offensive feel.
We are, but again, that foul trouble, it's going to be very interesting to see how both teams start to manage it, because if teams are living in the bonus, and then you see George Mason picking up full court pressure here. You know, VCU's got to love that because they're the better free throw shooting team. But if Tony Skinn can buy some minutes with his core players on the bench, with 3 and some change, he'll take that for sure. But I'll tell you one thing. If you're Ryan Odom and you see 25% and you're down 1, you're like, we can't play this bad in the second half.
Shulga was tipped by Bamboye, who is back out there with 2 fouls for VCU. Russell also has 2. He's on the bench for VCU, and all 3 of those players for George Mason with 2 fouls are on the bench right now.
Look at how they hawk the basketball. Both teams bad foul there on the jump shot by Zach Jackson. And good job of sliding his feet. Darius Maddox is a tough cover. But you want to go straight up or straight down. Got to give him a chance to come back down. They were zealous there defensively.
And yet another player.
That's amazing, right?
The second foul. It's Jackson's second.
I thought this would be a very physical game. Again, and that's when it comes down to free throw shooting. I mentioned before. And Darius Maddox is an excellent free throw shooter. He shoots about 88%. But again, if it gets into a free throw shooting battle, that may be tough for George Mason, particularly on the road. Because when you pile that type of foul trouble on another team, you want to take advantage of it at the line.
Well, Maddox is statistically the best free throw shooter in the conference, but doesn't have a lot of help. They are 4 percentage points lower than VCU shooting free throws this season. 2-point lead for George Mason, 3:07 to go first half. Nobody has led by more than 5.
You mentioned Phil Russell having 2 fouls. He is back in the game. Let's see if George Mason offensively tries to take advantage of it. It's like George Mason starting a little bit of zone, a little matchup, and then straight to man-to-man.
And Shulga with the shot clock at 6.
Great hands by Haynes.
Clark rips that one through. Great move to the hoop and a foul inside.
I said Haynes is immature with the hands off the ball screen.
Guess what? That's 2 on him, too.
You got to think that just never stops. Again, it's nothing different than what I thought it was going to be. He's out of position there. But give Clark credit for maneuvering around him.
2:37 away from AT&T at the half. Back in the studio with Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, Roy Hibbert, and John Rothstein, bringing you the best highlights and also share their thoughts on this first half. Had a big overtime upset in the Big Ten with a last-second shot. Had 6 versus 7 in the SEC.
I know Wally Zerbiak's watching this game, said they need his jump shot this game.
Yes, that they do.
Offensive minded. Tell them all the time he never played defense.
George Mason shooting 33%, VCU 24%.
It was a defensive battle for sure. And look at the freshman Brandon Jennings. I really love this game. He's got a bright future. They're just doing a great job of moving their three-point position defense without fouling.
5 to shoot. Johnson. Oh, he's got it. Right over the top of the freshman Jennings.
Ryan made a great point. He said both of these teams are going to play great defense, and someone is going to have to do what? Make plays. Make a play. Katie Johnson just made a play. Big-time three-point shot from straight away. From a very experienced player who's played a lot of big-time basketball.
That's going to be an offensive foul. We will get Bamboye, I beg your pardon, Furman on that foul. And stop me if you've heard this before. It's his second.
The Curry motif in the first half. If Furman maybe that shoulder's fault. Just holding just a half a second more, allowing him to get set before coming off the screen. But credit George Mason and that pressure.
It's 4 players on each side now.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. I mean, I've done a lot of basketball games. That is a lot of fouls. Nothing short of what I expected, though.
Johnson bumped on the way up by Furman, but no whistle. That one's out of bounds. Keep it here with 13 on the shot clock.
The VCU bench is saying no one blocked the shot.
I didn't think so either.
Yeah, no one blocked the shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely VCU basketball.
That was one of those where I feel like the official was like,
didn't call the foul.
Call the foul.
Exactly.
I'm just going to give him the ball back. Maddox.
So tough for both teams to score at the rim today. Showing why they're both really good elite defensive teams. Oh, wow, no foul there. Look at this, Chris.
Everybody diving, and then the reach in on Johnson, and that's his second.
I feel like I'm with my daughter watching Sesame Street and saying your favorite number is number 2.
I mean, do you, as a coach,
This is amazing.
do you have to change the way you play in the second half? There's so many players now in foul trouble.
No, once you get to the second half, they have 3 fouls. You know, it's about winning the game. You want to preserve them. You don't want anybody to get a 3rd foul. But for this game to be where it is, I mean, give the officials credit. They called it pretty evenly. Both teams are massive fouls. And we'll just see what happens in the second half, because I think this game may get even more physical.
Well, that is the 5th player now for George Mason with 2 fouls. VCU has 4 players with 2 fouls. George Mason leads by 1.
I mean, I thought this game was going to be exactly the way it's played right now. You got 2 very experienced teams. You know, forget about how VCU scores. George Mason will put those paws on you. They can shut you down. They have some guys that can score as well.
Maddox thought about cranking it. Now finds the open man. A little bit short on the 3 attempt from Anderson, but they get another look. Maddox cranks it. He's got that awkward delivery.
Phillips and
Great
Jennings.
job, man.
Chris, Phillips and Jennings, you have to see that battle down there boxing each other out. My goodness. Look at this. Unbelievable.
Both of these teams have gone 9 deep in this first half. They are both deep. Chris Walker said it walking out of shoot-around this morning with the crew. He said this is going to be a slugfest. This is going to be a rock fight. This is not going to be a high-scoring affair. You didn't say that everyone in the first half was going to pick up 2 fouls, though.
I did say that, but I definitely thought it would be extremely physical. And that's what it is. And what I'll do is give credit to a very experienced referee crew of not letting it be one-sided, because it's on the road. And you know how it is when teams go on the road in college basketball.
VCU's been whistled for 10 fouls. George Mason has been whistled for 11 fouls. You see the numbers around the rim. George Mason with under 10 to shoot here. About a 25-second difference shot in game clock. Johnson, dribble drive, airmail. And now the shot clock is off if VCU wants the last shot. Jennings, the freshman.
Well, definitely take the last shot. There's no reason to give George Mason another opportunity. He's usually a loser there by Ryan over. He wants to get a look.
See what VCU draws up. The VCU band is incredible. And they were talking elite trash to the George Mason players. Somebody yelled out to a George Mason player, "You can't even spell trumpet."
He's got some dance moves now. I'm going to have to take my jacket off and show him a couple, but he's definitely got some dance moves. They're a tremendous band. I'm just listening to them. I've been in Richmond for like 2 months now.
Yeah.
It feels like, but
got a residency
very
here.
entertaining.
George Mason with the second longest winning streak in the country. They haven't lost since the week of New Year's. It was the first weekend of the year 25, the last time they lost. VCU with the shot clock off, 15 seconds to go first half. Shooting 24%, but a chance to go into halftime.
I was going to say, look for Shulga, come off the ball screen. Something for him for sure. Ooh, we might have got away with a foul there, Max.
Philip Russell lost it.
Wow.
Here's Johnson with a chance. And we reach halftime. It's the fewest points VCU has scored in the first half this season. They're only down 1 to George Mason.
The roof of this building is ready to come off. If VCU can get something going, but George Mason is not having any of it right now.
Should be noted that George Mason has played a lot more close games than VCU this season. They have won 6 straight games that have been decided by 5 or fewer, and they have won their last 3 overtime games.
That's the testament to them, and that's the mettle that these guys have, the mentality to win close games, not only at home but on the road. Even at St. Joe's game, they were down 16, had to come back and win that game as well. This team is tried and tested, but certainly you attribute that to their experience and their togetherness.
Joe Bamasil had the dish off to Luke Bamboye, who sat most of the first half with 2 early fouls.
You don't see much. George Mason giving up the paint, dropping a dime to Bamboye in a dunker spot. Good start for the Rams.
Yeah, VCU only made 6 field goals in the first half. They had more free throw makes than field goals. This is Braden O'Connor inside. Haynes double team, kicks it out. Woody Newton drills the 3.
Come on now. You referenced earlier, he has been absolutely on fire. Steppenless with the jumper. You leave him open, who's going to knock it down?
First place on the line, George Mason leading VCU by 1 game in the standings. This is their only regular season meeting. If George Mason wins, they'll have a 2-game lead with 4 to play. If VCU wins, they'll have the tiebreaker. Oh, tough shot from Philip Russell.
Russell gets up looking at the ref. Ref's like, get up. That's not this game, right? we did that the first half. You're going to earn it in the second half.
We've had 6 lead changes. This is our 5th tie of the game. George Mason led the majority of the first half over 16 minutes. Jalen Haynes double team. Able to find Newton, who stumbles and gets it back to Haynes. 5 on the shot clock.
Got to get it up.
Going to work. What a move!
Good. You know what's funny? I watched film after film, and he does it better. Some of the best players I've seen in the country getting to the other side of the rim.
I don't know how he found room to get on that baseline.
He's a big guy, but he finds a way to get the smallest of places, and you cannot leave Philip Russell open. They start to heat it up, get this crowd into the game. It could change. Look at he's breaking the ball up.
Bamboye's got 2 fouls, so he has to be careful.
He certainly does, but give Haynes some credit. He was going between his legs, working on his dribbling drills. Biggs always wanted to handle the basketball, always.
There he is setting the screen. Maddox slips.
Russell's in his shirt.
O'Connor an open look, but he walked first. No, beg your pardon. It's a shot clock violation. Did not get it off in time, but go back to Haynes' move.
Look at that, getting to the other side. Bamboya late with the help. Right there. Again, you got to get to that baseline very quickly. Put your foot on the sideline. Right here, Maddox just did not know, unaware, but the pressure makes water pipes bust. That's what they used to say back at H-Town, Chris.
You couldn't hear the bench trying to shout, shoot it, because it's so loud in here. VCU with the lead and the ball. Yeah, Russell going for back-to-back. In and out. Bamboya swatted, but a foul. And that's the third on Woody Newton.
Anytime you're in a situation where there's constant switching, which is what both these teams can do, when the ball goes up, that means you have a small trying to box out a big. That's what happens. It all looks good because you can disrupt the offense, but when the ball goes up, you have mismatches inside trying to box out, and that's where offensive rebounds occur.
That was Bamboya's 20th free throw attempt of the season. He only plays 16 minutes a game, but he's still third in the conference in blocked shots.
And it's effective with the usage rate that they use him for. I mean, he just gets out there and does a tremendous job of disrupting the game. Furman was just started every game last year, and we mentioned earlier, starting first 10 games this year, and they found that as a turnover again.
It would have been a backcourt violation anyway, even if Anderson had been able to get it.
Got to slow down, got to cross half court and cross the corner too quick. You got to have someone behind him so he can have an outlet to throw the ball back to. I think they caught the Patriots by surprise.
7th turnover for George Mason. VCU turns teams over 15 times a game.
As Tony Skin mentioned, they struggle with turnovers. Good job by Zach Anderson taking away the penetration of Bamboya.
Shulga draws the foul. That was a smart play by the savvy veteran.
And you know what this is happening, Chris? This is happening because VCU is such a very good team at knocking down three-point shots. They have to play them. And what Shulga and Bamboya are good at are getting into the interior and drawing fouls.
Jared Billups picks up his second foul for George Mason, and Shulga, first team all-conference last season, 75% free throw shooter. A chance to give VCU their largest lead in the game.
A bit of a chess match here, and in the halftime, I guarantee you, Ryan says, listen, guys, they're going to take away the three-point shot. You're going to have to drive. I get it. They're hard to score against inside. You have to drive, and you got to take the punishment and get to the foul line. That's how we're going to have to win this game, because they're not going to allow us to make three-point shots.
And VCU, 4 for 18 from deep in the first half.
See that full-court pressure. This is George Mason doesn't have a traditional point guard. O'Connor's played it. Look at this driving it, bringing it up. Let's just play, let Jalen Hayes play point forward.
He cleared everybody out. He says, I'm going to take this, and look at him go. Rejected! Bamboya! Whoa! Shulga putting the moves on. And the bucket! And they're going to need a timeout, and now we've got a little bit of pushing underneath. George Mason calls a timeout. The Siegel Center's alive now. An 8-0 run for VCU. They've got their largest lead of the game. They turned George Mason over a couple of times in the second half and one big block.
You're talking about the best shot blocking team in the A-10, one of the best in the country. It starts, that's where their break starts as well. This young man, Bamboya has changed this team along with Furman, and that makes it very tough. As you see at the bottom right here, that's a big part of it. Hard to score in this team for sure.
basically 46% on layups. That's all they're allowing their opponents. And Bamboye with a monstrous block that turned into a bucket from Shulga, who leads the way with 14 points.
Chris, that dunk, it was like, seriously, I mean, that block, my goodness. It's like an old one-on-one tournament drill. Anybody that loves basketball, knows basketball, know what I'm talking about. And then you have to score on him. And he was not having none of it. That just shows you how good this kid is defensively and the impact he's had on this program.
K.D. Johnson.
Let's start to take advantage of the fact that George Mason doesn't have a true point.
That's a foul inside. It would have been a run out for Philip Russell. Two-time A-10 Coach of the Year. Won 2 other Coach of the Year awards as well.
I said, hey, go in Tom goal. I don't want all those foul fans to jump on me. No shame here. I'm correcting myself. As the jackets come off. Now you know what's going on. The jackets come off. Tony Skin's ready to go.
That foul, by the way, was on Bamboye, his third, as that one gets rejected. So even though Bamboye is out, they bring in Furman, and Furman able to turn it back.
And just a little piece of advice you give a shot blocker, even the size of Jalen Haynes, you got to come down on 2 feet, you got to stop, you got to shot fake, get him in air, and then again take the punishment. He certainly has the body to do that. But if any airspace like that, those guys are long, lean, and athletic, they're going to block those shots.
Both those guys, Furman and Bamboye, top 6 in the conference in blocks. The shot clock at 15. Maddox, the drive, tried to dump it, got it back, threw it up, wanted to foul, didn't get it, great poke, and the run out, Jack Clark.
So much has been made of George Mason, their defensive prowess. Let's not forget the second best team in this conference. And you see the foul there again to get this crowd ignited. It's VCU.
And it's on Haynes, his third.
That dunk there, soaring for the left-handed hammer. That's a little chippy. They've called worse today. I don't know about that. But that puts Haynes on the bench, and you see Joe Bama's here. He is ecstatic. These guys have turned the pressure up. George Mason got to be careful here, Chris. He starts putting the gas on. It gets ugly quick in the Siegel Center.
They have won every home game by 12+. And it's an offensive foul, and Russell and Johnson are going at it. Russell was just talked to by an official after he blocked the shot after the whistle on the other end of the court. So tempers are starting to get out of hand.
K.D. Johnson, from his days at Auburn, has always been a fire plug to get everyone excited. See right there. Oh, wow. Okay. They're really trying to curtail things a little bit here.
That wasn't a lot.
It was not a lot. It was a lot after the other foul down here on Haynes as well.
The third on Russell. And there's another turnover. Shulga, grab from behind. And that's going to be a foul. They'll discuss. Is this going to be even more than a common foul? It is. Intentional. As Shulga had a clear path to the hoop.
Anderson just lost the basketball. He definitely grabbed it. He was better off chasing him down and trying to get a block and challenge at the rim.
So it's 2 shots and the ball for VCU. Chance to build a double-digit lead in this game. They hadn't led by more than 2 at all in this game until this current run.
So I say about playing at home in college basketball, it's the toughest atmosphere. They can talk about football and all they want. College basketball, proximity of it, a great crowd like this, it is intense pressure, it's loud. It is very difficult to win on the road against a tough opponent.
Had more fouls than field goal makes, 27 fouls.
You think these teams aren't playing for something today? They know exactly what's on the line. George Mason's got to get their composure. They've been in tough situations all year long. They've won tight games. Now, this is a different team here, but
Oh, Bama Seal with a great drive, but missed the lay-in. Now George Mason trying to stem this tide. It's a 12-0 run over the last 3:15. Another turnover. And another foul. And it's Johnson's third.
George Mason's coming apart here. They got to figure something out there. They got to get their composure. But give VCU credit. They got their hands on balls and not fouling. And Jack Clark there with the steal. With his hands on the ball. Zeb Jackson got the steal. But be careful here. Don't lose your composure. We're down 10 with 14 and some change to go. Not a game left.
As we mentioned earlier, they trailed by 16 against St. Joe's in their last game. Clark, free!
Happens quick, doesn't it?
A 15-0 run! And it's out of bounds to George Mason. They almost turned him over again. VCU all of a sudden plus 11 in points off turnovers.
Remember, they were down 16 to St. Joe's. Now, again, that was at home, and they figured out a way to win. This is on the road, which I think is the toughest place to play in this league. We'll see what happens. George Mason can come out of this one. This will really tell you what type of program this program is right now.
They haven't scored in over 4 minutes, in desperate need of points. And that's a big bucket from Giovanni Emajuru.
It just went straight into the chest. That's what you do to shot blocker. Got a big body himself. Going in the front of the chest. Great dime there by the freshman, Justin Beck.
Clark, head fake. And chasing it down was Bama Seal. Tried to bounce it to Furman. It'll stay with VCU, 11 on the shot clock. Jack Clark had a big transition dunk and then finds the range from deep.
Good pass there by Zeb Jackson to find him, getting into the crease, drawing the defense. Plus the elation of his group on the bench. They just have so many weapons. There's no question in my mind this team's an NCAA tournament team.
Now 5 players with 3 fouls in this game. George Mason with 3, VCU with 2. Again, shot clock at 10 here. Bama Seal deep 3. Not even close. But Clark's able to run it down. Shot clock did not reset. It didn't hit the rim. They'll have to launch. Back tap. And over the scores table goes Bama Seal. He's all right. Fans love that kind of effort.
Going after this basketball. I want to see Drew Dickerson. The A-10.
Drew's here to watch the game of the year in the A-10. George Mason turns it over again. It's Zeb Jackson. He stuffs it. And they'll get a foul on that inbounds pass. Brandon Jennings with his hand in the cookie jar.
They're just getting after George Mason. Right there, you said hands on the cookie. You cannot cross over against Zeb Jackson. That's a mistake by the freshman. And he goes up with the jam sandwich. Man.
A huge screen in the backcourt by Woody Newton, who got it poked away, stolen again. Here comes Jackson again. Rejected at the rim by Billups.
How about that block, Chris?
Big in transition. And a foul going on Jack Clark. It's his second.
We got a great seat. I'm telling you right now. This is Jack Clark. Great defense there with his hands on the ball. Zeb Jackson. I mean, splash. Doesn't even break the glass.
Yeah, I've seen players break the glass dunking it. I've never seen it on a block, but it looked like it might have been close.
It was LeBron-esque, I'm telling you. He put up.
Yeah, crack in that window. Nice hesitation, but another turnover. Goodness. That is the 8th turnover in the first 7.5 minutes of this half for George Mason.
Justin Bagg's going to have to grow up quickly in this game. Only scared again. Just competitor that he is. Unfamiliar territory right now for these guys. They have to bring it.
They haven't lost since January 4th at Rhode Island, a game they lost at the buzzer. Their only A-10 loss. Shulga almost had that one ripped away.
They're just hands on both teams. They're just going after it.
Russell for three. Oh, it was halfway down. Foul on George Mason. They get Jared Billups. That'll be his third. It's nest in here. What is Tony Skinn telling his team right now down 13?
He said, guys, listen. We're a tough team. We won a lot of tough games. There's 12 minutes on the clock. Slow down. 2 by 2. There's no 13-point shot. They got the crowd going. But we've been in this situation before where we've had to. Again, we've been down in the scorecard and we have to fight our way back. That's what they're going to have to do. But it starts with keeping their composure first.
VCU with the ball. Shot clock at 20 on the inbound here. Here's Russell going to work. Gets the screen from Furman. Dancing in. Shot clock at 5. Clark. Step back. Deep one. Short.
That's what it starts with. A good possession. You can't score unless you stop there. A quality shot on this end of the floor. Keeping the freshman Justin Baggett.
VCU has more than doubled up George Mason in field goal attempts in this half because they continue to turn George Mason over. George Mason's 50% shooting in this second half, but they've only taken 6 shots.
Another turnover. Oh, wow.
Let's keep that one here with 4 on the shot clock. And both teams with favorable schedules the rest of the way. George Mason does not play any team above 500 in conference play or even at 500 in conference play. For VCU, Dayton's the only team with a winning record.
Well, those other teams heard you, Chris. They go, oh, really? Is that what you think, Mr. Hassel? We're going to show you. It's college basketball. Anybody can get beat at any time, but you're right. Now the metrics certainly favorable.
VCU feeling like if they can win this, take care of business the rest of the way, if they can beat an at-large team even if they don't win the tournament. Billups on the run out. Well, they sorely needed that. They need more of it.
Tony Skinn was almost in the trap himself. Look at these guys get after it. It is a helter-skelter game. Maybe this is what George Mason needs to pick up the tempo of the game.
Forced back-to-back turnovers. And that late whistle is going to send George Mason to the line as we go back to the turnover by Clark and Billups chasing it down and throwing it down.
That's what they need. Maybe points off turnovers, get some physicality. Eddie Johnson doing what he does best, throwing his body into the defender to get to the foul. They're going to have some full court pressure here for sure. Tony Skinn feels like they need to pick up the tempo of this game and maybe coerce VCU into turning the basketball over as well. Shooting quick, not necessarily pick 6 turnovers. Maybe they shoot quick and they can get their break going.
The lineup on the floor right now for George Mason features all 4 players who have 3 fouls in this game, but we're down to it now. 9-point game, 10:38 to go. That's back-to-back turnovers and back-to-back points off turnovers.
There's so much time on the clock.
Russell was open, but he wasn't looking for the ball, and it's a 3rd straight turnover. Johnson for 3. And it's going VCU's way. They get a foul on Billups. That's 4. And a walk down for a 1-and-1.
Again, tough shot here. Maybe get a shot fake, gets to the rim by Katie Johnson. Ends up resulting in a foul on Billups. But I'll tell you this, the momentum right now is shifting towards the Patriots. They just got to convert on the offensive end. You wouldn't think that I wouldn't say VCU is the pressing team, or they're a team that turns you over by trapping and pressing. They do a little bit more methodically, but maybe you push them to play a little bit faster as well, and you're seeing what's happening as a result of that.
Jack Clark's going to the free throw line for a 1-and-1. What a turnaround he's had this season. Went for a 3 for 44 stretch from three-point range. But in the 10 games since, he's over 50% from deep. Misses the front end of the 1-and-1, but Zeb Jackson runs it down for the Rams.
They just do an unbelievable job of going after their own shot. The key for the game for for George Mason was a one-shot game. They have not done that. And once again, they pay the price.
It's Clark. And it's almost another turnover. VCU fans thought that that was off of Braden O'Connor.
I'm not so sure they're wrong. Jack Clark. This kid's been absolutely on fire. Look at that. That's just experience.
And he's 2 for 4 in this game.
5 last game. I watched him put on the Jack Clark show against UMass.
Under 10 to play.
They're just ball hawking George Mason's guards.
Katie Johnson, tough drive, tried to dish it to Haynes. It was out of bounds off Shulga. 8 on the shot clock.
And a great job by Shulga rotating down after he got beat on the drive on the blow-by. He automatically went to Haynes to stop him from catching a dump-off.
5 to shoot. Maddox has been quiet. Tough shot off glass.
I mean, you really, seriously, like, this is playing at the park right now, and it's game point. It's like every shot. They're not called, and you don't get to call fouls. You have to really, really play in this game.
10-point game again. Bama Seal is fouled, and that will send him to the free throw line. And that's on Katie Johnson, his 4th.
I mean, look at that. You got Banassil reaching. You got Zeb Jackson chesting. Maddox still makes that shot off the glass. Again, this is not for the faint of heart, this game. They're both going at it. And you know, one thing that's a shame, and Tony's game mentioned this, he wasn't making excuses, that when they started this season, and Banassil misses another free throw, they don't get a return of a lot of these games, right? You know what I mean? Which is tough on the scheduling part, and they've still been able to balance that out with some wins.
Maddox looking for another one. Can't get it to single digits. Bama Seal into the corner, Shulga. And they're going to get Bama Seal for a foul.
Bama Seal's that wild card. I was going to say, every time he gets it, they're like, what's he going to do? Is it going to be something good? Is it going to be something bad? Tremendous player, but sometimes can get just a tad bit carried away.
He's 1 for 8 from the floor in this game. Had that free throw miss as well. Johnson almost turned it over to Jackson. George Mason again trying to get it to single digits. They led at halftime, but a 15-0 run turned this game around. Another whistle, another foul.
So if I'm George Mason, I'm spreading you out. I like that action they're running with a little motion, with the dribble handoffs. You get any type of shoulder advantage where the court is tilted down. Just drive the basketball, and you initiate the contact, and make these refs blow the whistle, because clearly they're starting to blow the whistle, and you're going to have to do it on the foul line, which is unfortunately not George Mason's strength. But they can't score otherwise, so they're going to have to do something.
That was 3 on Zeb Jackson. Braden O'Connor, one of their better free throw shooters, 78%. They're trying to just fight back into this game. Problem is they have 2 players on the edge of fouling out. Phillips, one of them on the bench.
Got it under 10. It's got to be solid. It's all about getting a stop right now. Oh, Will Jackson may have got rid of the track. Switching every like side screen. This is where it can be a problem right here.
And the three from Bama Seal. You're right. Big problem.
It's a little streaky, but whenever you need him, he comes through at the right time. They're just ball hawking, reaching, forcing the refs to have to blow the whistle. There's no let up on the ball, just constant pressure. And Ryan Odom said they were going to do that to their guards.
Woody Newton uses the head fake, and a deep two goes. By the way, they changed a foul call moments ago. Originally called on KD Johnson, which would have been his fourth. It is now taken off and spread out. And Johnson remains out there with three. Jackson.
I'm telling you, drive. You better be ready.
Oh, look at the hostage dribble from Hayes and the kick. Newton three. Oh, that would have put him right there.
That would have been perfect for them. Again, that's why I say before that you just have to be solid, play defense. 7 minutes to go, that's plenty of time. George Mason has to go back to their calling card, dig in, and get stops.
Both teams in the bonus at the 7-minute mark.
So go get that ball screen. Good job of switching the ball screen. Now you got an advantage of George Mason so good at switching back.
Shulga right by Woody. Missed the lay-in, tipped out. Bama Seal thought about the three. Oh, a whistle before he went up for the dunk. And
he has been absolutely fantastic since he's been here in this league. A silent assassin, they call him, but this kid comes to play every single game.
Ryan Odom was telling us earlier today, kind of reminds him of his 2023 Utah State team with Shulga. They were kind of in this same position, looked at as a fringe tournament team right there on the bubble, first 4 out, last 4 in. They eventually got in at Utah State. Of course, they want to take care of business and win the conference tournament, but you know what a crapshoot that thing can be with 6 seeds winning the tournament several years out of the last 5, 3 of the last 5, I think, and over the last 8 years, 8 different winners of the A-10 conference tournament.
He had a great perspective. He said, listen, there's a lot of games left to be played. You got to play it out. You have to play it out, and then that's the tail end of that Utah State comment. You don't know who's going to falter towards the end of the year, and they can only control what's in front of them. A lot of basketball left, and today is a good move in the right direction if they can take care of business here.
Johnson lost his dribble, found Haynes, who gets fouled. And if that's Bamboye, that would be his 4th. It is. Take a look at the recent regular season champions. George Mason, by the way, has never finished higher than 4th place since these teams came over together a little more than a decade ago. VCU has won it a couple of times. In fact, since VCU's come over, they have 5 championships in A-10 play. 3 regular season, 2 conference tournaments.
Yeah, certainly. But this goes to show you the job, shall I say, that Tony Skinn has done. And then really elevating this program. And they've lost Keyshawn Hall, who went to UCF, who was a big-time player. They've lost a few other players over the years, and they've been able to maintain. That's what the transfer portal is. And I'll give Tony Skinn credit. He embraces what's going on. He says, I wish I was playing right now. I'd have made it.
He's like, you kidding me? We made the Final Four.
I know, right? But he's embraced it and used it to the best for George Mason. They love him, and you know, him coming back home, there's nothing better than being at your alma mater and coming back and helping them realize success once again.
What a start to his career, 41-17. Fastest to 40 wins in George Mason history.
Coach Larranaga disciple, he's got to be happy seeing him. You see George Mason like they're playing zone here. Trying to keep VCU out of the lane.
Bama Seal gets in there and puts it in off the glass.
Makes him so tough, he can knock down jump shots, but he can get in the lane, take punishment, and make shots. So many weapons for VCU.
Lead is up to 12. Maddox partially blocked. And we're going to get Clark on that rebound for VCU.
And as I said, they're just so good. He's long, he's experienced, can take contact with Maddox. Two former roommates. How about that at Virginia Tech? Going at each other. Right there. That was interesting.
Yeah. Former teammates at a school that has completely different from both of these. How about that? These guys have known each other for a long time. There they are at Virginia Tech. Maddox and Hamisil 3 years ago.
That is amazing.
Maddox, long 3 seasons there.
They're a long way from, yeah, Maddox did. It just goes to show you how the business has changed. And I tell people, instead of lamenting about it, Chris, let's embrace it. Now, it's harder for us because we got to know all the different schools they've come from, but that's our job. That's our cross to bear, not theirs.
Harder for fans, too.
It is, but again, there's changes that happen all the time in sports, and we have to get used to it.
We were talking earlier today that some of these A-10 teams might really benefit from this new era in NIL when athletic departments start paying. Without football programs, you could put a lot more money into basketball. Hamisil. That was online, but too strong. George Mason down 10. See if they have a push in him here. We haven't seen a run out of George Mason really at all in this game. Chris, their largest run in this game was a 5-0 run early in the game.
Yeah, it's been tough. There's another foul. Listen, 5 minutes ago, they said they're trying to get some orders established. If they can get it to 6 points, this is totally. This kid's trying to talk to his group, very animated. If they can get it to 6 with 4 minutes, this is a game. You see Bannister trying to run through the foul, and Coach Odom called the timeout.
And we will take it with them with 5:04 to go in this game.
Great games. Tell the studio guys, get the pillow ready.
You've been in that position many a time.
Whoa. Wake up, Roy Hibbert. Get the pillow ready. They'll be there for a while.
Haynes missed his first 3 free throws in this game. He's made his last 2, up and short.
Remember what I said, if this game's a tight game, what was going to hurt George Mason if they can't do it is the foul shots. You know, you get a tight game like this, every single thing matters, particularly getting to the line and knocking them down.
They're 13 for 20 in this game, 65%. Shulga, a look. Hit and make! He's got 19. And a foul 90 feet away. And Ryan Odom is pleading with his players.
Phillips just fell asleep. You can't lose him. Ball watching. Probably the most dangerous player on the floor. Probably the most emotion you'll see from Max Shulga today. But he can knock down shots. Terrific player. VCU, you mentioned earlier, this VCU program, we went through the facility today. You see this crowd. This is, you know, and I would say the same thing about George Mason. As KD misses that shot, I've been to their program before. They've been to the Final Four. These are not mid-major programs, right? And so these guys have had seismic success. Think about it. They've both gone to the Final Four, right? There's a lot of power of key 4 teams. I don't know why they don't include the Big East in that, but there's a lot of teams at that level that have been gone to the Final Four.
VCU, the last to do it back in 2011. George Mason did it in 2006.
Coaches here have had great success. Shaka Sean, Anthony Grant, Will Wade.
Russell, well behind the line and well off. George Mason, another chance to get it to single digits as we hit the 4-minute mark.
That'd be huge if they could get to single digits. Going to that 4-minute timeout, as I said.
Maddox got a big screen from Haynes and makes the bucket. Timeout. George Mason, 9-point game again. Tuning in for the Santa Clara Washington State game. You'll be able to find it streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN as soon as it tips off. And of course, we're going to get you out there immediately when we are done here. Fran Charles and Trey Demps ready to take over on the call on the West Coast. Well, George Mason looking for one big run to make this tight down the stretch, where they have won 6 straight games decided by 5 or fewer, and several of them in this 11-game winning streak.
Yeah, they're doing it against a very difficult opponent that does not lose and has not lost at home, and a raucous crowd. And let me tell you something, it would say a lot about Tony Skinn and Pro. If they can pull this one off, they're going to have to dig deep against this team. Ryan Over's very well-coached team.
The cardiac Pats. Patriots overcame that 16-point deficit in their last game against St. Joe's, and 3 overtime games as well. Clark met at the rim as he went up to try to stuff it, and a foul is called. Newton got the worst part of that.
Coach Katie Johnson sleeping there. Good pass by Zeb Jackson. You're definitely not getting an easy layup in this game. What it takes, hard fouls, good tough fouls. Got to go to the line and knock them down.
It's the 4th on Newton. So Newton and Billups with 4 on the floor. Bamboye has 4 for VCU. And he's on the bench. It's hard to believe that George Mason has still led this game longer than VCU has. There's a 15-0 run early in the second half that turned this thing around. George Mason led at halftime. They haven't been able to get it back within 6 or 7 since that run.
Credit the defense. Ainsborough got away with a foul there.
Alex missed it. Billups able to get the offensive board. Oh, he was hit on the way up, maybe by his own man. No call.
Just can't score. It's in Bamboye. They just do a tremendous job of swarming you, and then those guys are flying to block shots. That's to the satisfaction of the Siegel Center crowd. I got a great seat. I'm sitting right next to Mr. Siegel himself.
How about that?
How about that?
Shulga, extra pass. And Shulga gets it back and pays it off with a dagger.
The best in this league at assists. One of the best offensive teams in the country. They move the basketball. It's a thing of beauty to watch. To get these guys to play with each other the way they do.
Largest lead of the game.
Yeah, definitely credit to coaching. Not easy.
Maddox, air ball. And there are a couple possessions here where I feel like you just clip that off and send that around the country to your high school basketball teams.
Exactly. You're going to see Shulga just relocate right here. Shulga. And Zeb Jackson knew it from the word St. Joe that he was going to get there. And Zeb Jackson, the presence of mind to make that pass.
Checks and gets it back. Oh, boy! Foul before that block. But it is all Rams in the second half.
Chris, you're telling me that this team, look at that pass, between the legs. Come on now. Come on, Russell. Don't do that. Zeb Jackson knocks it down. The Curry, that's right. The Curry from the corner. Man, they're enjoying it in the Siegel Center. This has been, as I said before, and I'll say it again, John Rothstein, I'm talking to you. This is a tournament team, Jerry.
Yeah, come on, Jerry.
Let's go.
That Santa Clara Washington State game is underway. It's now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one's over. Jerry will put VCU into the field in his next bracketology because if you're in first place in your conference, you're automatically in.
Yeah, but the AQ, I get it. But this team, they got George Mason scrambling in a tough situation. Down 16, they got to start trapping and getting after VCU a little bit. Not enough time on the clock to let the clock extinguish.
Jackson with 5 on the shot clock. He's got Haynes on him. Shulga, the offensive board, with a chance to eat more clock.
That's been the story of the game. Wow, look at this guy. You know, they feel it. Tony Skin up in 11-game win streak. It's going to come to an end.
Another extra pass and another offensive board. Maybe these two will see each other again in the A-10 tournament. But after today, VCU is going to be in control of the 1 seed and clinch the double bye. Both teams will pick things up in the quarterfinals.
Homecoming weekend.
And the exclamation point from Furman. And an offensive foul and some push-ups for good measure.
How about that? No gamesmanship. Dropping a dime to the dump. Jeff Jackson has just been a terror all game long with his penetration and athleticism and defense. And Haynes with the tough screen. And there you go. Give him a little push-up, Phil Russell. Oh, that's funny. That's you like stuff like that. Just keep it classy for sure. Unfortunately, it will not be a game at George Mason, but we may see these teams in DC.
VCU on a tear in February. They're going to get to 6-0 this month. Furman with a double exclamation point. And they're up 20 after trailing at the break.
Wow. I said it was a rock fight, but I didn't know it was only going to be for 20 minutes. This game changed very quickly. That's why this team is 13-0 at home. You see this atmosphere. Now let me tell you this. I always talk about people playing on the road, and you talk about VCU's resume. You tell me who wants to come see right now with a nice little dime dunk. What power 5, power 4, key 4, whatever you want to call them, wants to come in this place and play. And that's what you face.
Nobody.
Yeah, no one's going to do it. That's what you face in Atlanta 10 about, resumes and getting teams to come in here. Because there's no one watching this that's going to say, hey, let me go schedule VCU. Not happening.
Well, Billups, the first player to foul out of this game after the 45th foul call. And a line change for VCU. What a statement win. George Mason's on the rise. The VCU is saying, hey, we're the perennial power. You're still going to have to beat us. And Ryan Odom's team is going to jump into a tie for first place with George Mason, but have the tiebreaker with 4 games remaining and just a couple of weeks to the A-10 tournament in DC.
Got a funny feeling these two may match up again. Neutral site. Tony Skin, that's a nice 3 there by Katie Johnson. 11-game win streak, nothing to be ashamed of. Everyone that's coming in this building has lost.
And lost by 12 more points.
And in February, it's been horrible for everybody that's come in.
Ryan Odom said at the end of shoot-around, they have not seen what you're about to put on them today. And VCU wins the game of the year in the A-10 by 16. And they're now locked at 12-2 atop the conference. VCU holding the tiebreaker and holding serve at home, where they remain unbeaten and really unchallenged.